Hello, everybody, it's Tim here again, here another video. This time I figured why not rank the Halloween series now that Halloween Ends is out, the last one until the next reboot, most likely. Although if they do try to bring Myers back, I am going to be interested to see how they do it. But yeah, I just figured I'd go ahead and rank the series, and I got my list right here. And I figured, why the hell not? Since there's like 13 of these now, and I'm not including like the theatrical cut of Halloween 6 because the producer's cut is clearly better. So I'm only going to be ranking the producer's cut. I'm not including Halloween 3 because I pretty much still stand by my review for Halloween 3. Like Halloween 3, I think is a bad Halloween movie compared to the writing of the first two that Carpenter worked on. But as a standalone, like Tom Atkins 80s movie, I think it's good camp schlock that is actually fun. But as a Halloween movie, it just doesn't measure up to the writing of those first two flicks. And to be honest, it's so out of place in the series overall because of what the series became that it really doesn't even really count to me. But as its own movie, I do like it. But as a Halloween movie, I don't think it works. And yeah, some of these movies have moved up on my list and changed positions over time. So I figured, why the hell not? Why not do a ranking for them? Number one, the original Halloween. Easily a 4 out of 4. A very simple concept. Michael Myers is just a force. He's out stalking Jamie Lee Curtis. He has no motive. He's just a crazy guy. He's just a dude who's like born without emotion, pretty much. He's just a psychopath that gives in to his dark side. That's pretty much all the character is. He's not really a character. And truthfully, you didn't need a franchise for this series. It could have just been a one off movie. But for just the first movie, easily my favorite. Masterpiece, 4 out of 4. Number two, Number two is actually Halloween 2018. Now, this film comes the closest to trying to like copy the Carpenter formula in terms of the suspense and all that. There are some things I don't like in this, like the comedy from the father or whatever, where he's talking about spilling peanut butter on his penis or whatever. That just doesn't work for me. But the whole setup with Laurie Strode being like traumatized and being like in the Dr. Loomis role now, I actually really enjoy. Yeah, overall, this would be a 4 out of 4. Awesome flick. Easily my second favorite Halloween movie. Number three. Number three would be Halloween 2. I'd give this a 3 out of 4. I think this is good. I do not think this is a great movie, but I do think it is a good sequel. Most of these Halloween films on here I do think are good. The ones that I have listed. But yeah, number three, Halloween 2, I think it's a good sequel. I don't like the whole brother and sister twist thing, and it almost feels like it comes out of nowhere. Or actually, I guess it does feel like it comes out of nowhere. But I like the finality of the ending. Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't get to do as much as Laurie Strode in this, but I really like Donald Pleasance in these movies. And when he like blows up himself and Myers at the end after like Jamie Lee Curtis shoots him in the eyes and you get the bloody tears scene, I really enjoy that. So yeah, 3 out of 4 for number two. I like the finality of it. The franchise once again could have stopped here. Yeah, 3 out of 4. Good sequel. I like it. Number four. Number four is actually going to be Halloween Rob Zombie. Now, in terms of Rob Zombie, I don't really like his movies now, but when he first started out, I actually did enjoy his stuff. I like his first few movies like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, and I enjoyed this one because his style wasn't overused yet or overdone, where he just kind of does the same thing over and over. Zombie makes grindhouse trashy like 70s top flicks, and that's what he did with Halloween. I knew when Rob Zombie was going to do this that he was going to do his own thing. I'd rather him do that than try to remake anything from the Carpenter flick. When he actually does try to remake stuff from it, that's when the film kind of felt didn't work as good for me. But I don't need like all the like white trash family stuff and all that for Michael Myers. It is kind of a glitch serial killer background if you're going to do a more human Michael Myers, which is what Rob Zombie's doing. But at the same time, though, I thought the child actor did a good job, and I thought Sherry Moon Zombie was fine in her secondary role. And the child actor makes me invested in this version of Michael Myers. And like I said, a lot of people are or hardcore Halloween fans who are not Rob Zombie fans are going to dislike this one because it goes against the whole like Michael Myers is pure evil thing and all that and humanizes him. But if you can accept the movie as its own thing, like I do, this is Rob Zombie's own version of Michael Myers, then which it is, and then I think it works fine. This is a good fine slasher flick. Um, let's see, what one was that? Number four, number five is next. Number five, Halloween H2O. This is one that has actually moved up for me. Used to, I kind of pretty much resented this film because it was like encapsulated like the whole 90s like era of meta horror and stuff like that. I just didn't want to see that in a Halloween movie, and it was the first one to like reboot the franchise. Watching it now, it is a reboot, ignoring the others and being a direct sequel to one and two, pretty much. For a reboot for the 90s, I'd give this a 3 out of 4. I actually think this is good. I understand why they did the meta horror thing now, thinking about it, because they have to be contemporary for the decade they come out in. So I think it works. It is a little bit too boring at times, and the teenage victims aren't that memorable. But when you get to the ending climax with Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she does a great job in here. And I like just the balls to like almost pretty much finish the franchise off at this point with her like chopping his head off. That was really cool. even though it's completely destroyed by Resurrection. But overall, I have a good time with Halloween H2O now. When I did my old review of it, I gave it like a 2 out of 4. Just thought it was okay. Watching it now, I actually enjoy it. It's moved up. It's a 3 out of 4. I've learned to accept the film more for what it is, and I actually think it's good. Number 6. Number 6 would be Halloween: The Return of Michael Myers, another 3 out of 4. Now this one, this is mostly just kind of like a redo of the first film with Michael Myers on the loose again, like chasing after somebody or whatever. It's kind of like a redo of that, but with more gore. Escaping from not an institution in this one, but like an ambulance or whatever. And he goes after his niece, played by Danielle Harris, who grew up to be pretty hot. But yeah, she does a good job here. She's a good child actor. She was also in Rob Zombie's Halloween as the Annie Brackett character. But yeah, she does a good job here in Halloween 4. And the ending of this, I really enjoyed. I think Michael Myers' death at the end is a little weak because this dude's been like blown up already once before, and you shoot him a few times and he falls down a well, and you're like, okay, I guess it's over. It's like, nah, I'd make sure that dude was dead. I'd climb down there and blow his ass up. But yeah, that's kind of weak. But I like the whole twist at the end where the evil's like transferred to Jamie's character because she's part of Myers' bloodline, and it hints that she'll be the killer in the next one, which they totally waste. But that's where I would have rather the franchise have went. Like, I'm not like such a purist of franchises where I think they should always stick close to like the same thing. Like Mustafa Akkad, who owned the rights, didn't want to do that. He didn't want to go that direction, even though they hint at it here with Jamie being the killer in the next one, or even her teamed up with Michael, because they figured that would lose people because it'd be too different. But at the same time, I like variety. I would have been fine with it, personally. Let's see, that's number 6. Number 7, Halloween 6 Producerska. No, that's not number 7. What is number 7? Number 7 is actually Halloween Ends. Yeah, sorry, I got mixed up there. Yeah, number 7 is Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends, 3 out of 4 for me. I've already done a review. I like Halloween Ends. I think it is good. I do not think it is great. I prefer it to Halloween Kills because there's more story. This movie really suffers from fan expectations because people are going to go in expecting this to be this big, epic Michael Laurie showdown. It's not what it is. Laurie does not really factor that much into this, and she really doesn't factor much into this whole new trilogy, except for Halloween 2018, where it's much more centered on her. And even that one, Michael didn't really care about her. It was just kind of happenstance that he ran into her. But yeah, 3 out of 4 for Halloween Ends. I like the story of Michael getting a sidekick and all that, and then like training another psychopath. To me, that was the interesting part of the movie. When it came time for the Laurie stuff at the end, that felt tacked on with her like having a final fight with Michael Myers. But I do like the fact that they pretty much destroy his body and grind him up in like a car grinder or whatever. And if they do make a direct sequel to this, Michael will have to come back as a ghost or something, or possess somebody or whatever, and transform their body. They'll have to do something crazy or something, or something new and fresh. If they do a direct sequel to this, unless they bring back the Corey guys, the new shape or whatever, they could have him survive somehow. Personally, I think this movie would be even stronger if the Laurie Strode stuff like wasn't even had to be a focus in this, and they just focused the whole movie on Michael and his adventure with Corey. I think it would have been even stronger just like that. But yeah, overall, I like this one for what it is. It's not the movie that people expected. It's not the movie that it feels like the other two build up to. But at the same time, for the movie that it is, I am someone who can accept stuff for what it is. I can't. For the movie that it is, for him, the adventure of Michael and him like training another serial killer or whatever, I liked it. And this is what Halloween 5 would have been if they would have went with like the Jamie Lloyd thing with her being like evil or whatever. This is what it would have been. And some people rejecting this one now shows me that maybe they made the right choice not making Jamie the killer, because people would have rejected that then too, most likely. So that's number 7. Number 8 is Halloween Kills. Number 8 is Halloween Kills. Now, Halloween Kills, I'd give it a 3 out of 4. It's entertaining. It is not great. Truthfully, it is maybe not even a good movie, but it is an entertaining movie. And for a slasher flick, entertainment value like matters a lot. Like, you can have the best story and awesomest story or whatever, like the original Carpenter flick, but at the same time, I'm someone who likes stuff like the Friday 13th franchise. If you just want to have fun and have Michael like obliterating assholes left and right, I can get down with that. Now, this movie isn't perfect. There's some bad, like really terrible, like weak social commentary at points or whatever. But whenever Michael Myers is like kicking ass, I had a blast. And especially at the end when he like takes out the whole mob. I don't really like the way it's shot with all like the darkness around it or whatever. It kind of looks like a comic book type thing or video game or whatever. But when he takes them all out, badass deaths though, and just he brutalizes motherfuckers in this the whole time, and I just really enjoyed it. Had fun with it. This is a Michael movie. He is the centerpiece here. He is the star. Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't do much. She's just in a bed the whole time. But I like that. I don't need like these movies to be Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie centered. I don't need that as a fan. If you want to focus on other characters, you can do that. I'm fine. I think a lot of people who don't like this movie really don't like it just because of the fact that they just don't like the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis is barely in the movie. and they just don't like the fact that the movie is just like centered on like the mob angle and all that. They just wanted something closer to like Halloween 2018. They just want the Jamie Lee Curtis show. And I'm not saying everybody's like that who has that problem with the movie. If you generally don't like any of these movies or whatever, or whichever ones you do like, that is cool. That is fine. But from what I've seen online, that seems to be the big complaint about the movie. And yeah, some of the mob stuff is kind of silly or whatever, but a lot of it is kind of interesting and realistic to real life. Like when people talk about, hey, they mistook or whatever, the fat dude or whatever, short fat guy as Michael Myers. They didn't really mistake him as they didn't really make a mistake. Well, they did, but what it is though is it's just a reference to like how mobs are, mob mentality. Like most of the people in the crowd, they don't even see the guy. Only like one or two people do, and they don't know what Michael Myers looks like. They're just in a frenzy, so they just point and be like, "That must be him because he's acting weird or whatever. We just got to get him." That's just rage. When people do that, they always do. People, these things happen in real life like this. They always make mistakes like this and just attack random people. This is what this kind of stuff can lead to. So, for me, it worked. Let's see, what was that? Number 8. What is number 9? Now number 9 now is Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Now, a lot of people's problem with this is the whole cult angle or whatever. The theatrical cut barely makes any sense. They try to take out all the cult stuff and just make it more of like a generic Michael Myers movie. And I do like the heavy metal guitar riff in the theatrical cut, but really, it makes little sense and it's edited completely like a music video. Here, they go full force with the cult plot, which I'm glad. If you're going to go that direction, go full force with it. Don't half-ass it. I'd rather you just go full force with it and make the movie you want to make instead of trying to please like everybody. You can't do that. So yeah, in terms of the plot, like a lot of people just don't like the cult idea of like Michael Myers being cursed by a cult and working with a cult. I'll say this, I don't need this idea. Personally, I'm fine with Michael Myers just being evil or just keeping it mysterious and maybe kind of explaining some things like they do in the new trilogy. They hint at some things or whatever, but don't fully explain it. I'm fine with that. But by the 6th movie in a series, you have to explain something. You have to. If you're going to keep making them, you have to have more story there. Otherwise, you can't do it. And some people will be like, well, just quit making them. But the majority of people want these movies to be made. They want more sequels. So you have to do something. Did it have to be like a cold idea? No, I think you could have come up with something else to explain why Michael Myers is evil. I don't really think you need more. I don't really think you need like the whole cold angle or whatever. I think you could have done it a different way. I think there are ways to do this. Or maybe Michael Myers was just obsessed with Halloween and he just went crazy because he just had a fascination with murder. Like, you don't really need like this whole cult idea. You don't. But once you accept the direction the movie is going with the cult idea, I think they pull it off well. And Paul Rudd here is like disturbed Tommy Doyle, who's like a Norman Bates type character. I enjoyed this version of Tommy Doyle more than Tommy Doyle in Halloween Kills. I like Paul Rudd in this movie. I think he's fun. If they would have made him like the new Loomis character or whatever after this, I could have went with it. Donald Pleasence, he's kind of old here, but he gets more to do in the producer's cut, which was cool. But yeah, overall, 3 out of 4. If you accept the direction that the movie's going with the whole cult thing and all that, if you are not willing to accept the direction that the movie's going, you will probably end up hating this. But if you can accept it and just take it for what it is, where they felt like they needed to explain Michael Myers by this point because there wasn't really anywhere else to go with the series, then I think they do a good job for the cult plot that they're going with. It just isn't a plot that I really personally wanted to see in a Halloween movie, but after taking it for what it is, I think it works. Let's see. That's number 9. What is number 10? Number 10, this is where I'm getting to the ones I don't like. Number 10 is Halloween, The Revenge of Michael Myers. 1.5 out of 4. I hate this movie. Not like a burning passion, but I do think it sucks. 1.5 out of 4 for Halloween 5. Like I said, it just throws away the whole Jamie being the killer thing, which I hated, and pretty much just tries to repeat Halloween 4 again, but with more atmosphere. I think this one has a little bit more atmosphere to it than 4 does. But at the same time, the overall, it's just bad movie. They just don't really explain any of the plot lines that they're going for, like Jamie having a psychic connection with Michael Myers and all that. They just really don't do anything with it. And it never really is explored enough or makes enough sense. And Loomis is just kind of psychotic in this. And the ending is just lame as hell. They capture Michael Myers, they get him in a jail cell with his mask still on, which makes no sense. And then he gets broke out by the man in black. Just broke out. So it's once again ending on another cliffhanger, just like Halloween 4 did. And I'm like, I didn't need that. Number 11 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 because I felt like that fit his style. I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This movie has a bit of a cult following from like hardcore Rob Zombie fans. But overall, I did not like this. I didn't absolutely hate it as a movie. As a Halloween movie. I do appreciate that it tries something different, but it doesn't do it well. The script is not written well. The execution is bad. That's why I don't like it. I'd give it a low 2 out of 4 just for some of the visuals, makes it passable. I like the idea of exploring like real victim trauma and all that, like Rob Zombie's trying to do. I did enjoy that. But like every character in this is an asshole, and even like the new characters who are Laurie's like new friends who should be likable, so we will care about them when they die. They're just completely unlikable and completely just like annoying. They're just like, hey, let's go out and party and get drunk, woo! Type of people you want to see die in a slasher film. So you don't care about anybody. Sheriff Brackett, Brad Dourif, is the only likable character in this. He is the only likable one. I know some people hate what Rob Zombie did with Loomis because it doesn't make sense really with his character in the first Rob Zombie remake because he was a good guy. But at the same time, even though it doesn't make sense, I do kind of like that Loomis has become like more money hungry and stuff like that. I kind of like this character evolution to where he has like a redemption moment at the end where he wants to help Laurie and all that. I actually did kind of enjoy that. Not perfect, but I did kind of like it. Overall, though, yeah, low 2. This is not a good movie. There are some interesting visuals here, and the visuals, like the way they're shot, are the best like part of the film. But at the same time, they're shot like music video. It's like Rob Zombie's just throwing in weird stuff, like goblins drinking out of gauntlets and stuff, just to have it in there, just to have weird imagery shot like a music video. That's what it looks like. It looks like a music video, but there's no logic to it. And the other thing is like Laurie like senses stuff when she's eating stuff. Like she can feel what Michael Myers is eating, like he's eating a dog or whatever, and that makes her throw up. They never explain why they have a psychic connection. They're trying to say that Laurie and Michael are linked by like their mental illness, but they never explain how they're psychically connected. It's like he took from Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, where I didn't like the psychic plot line there either, and they're doing it again here, and I hated it. And just forcing Sherry Moon Zombie into this film was awful. They did not need that. Michael Myers like listening to his mom and that's why he kills people. That is so stupid. But anyway, that's, what was it, 10? Or is that 11? Yeah, that was 11. Number 12, in last place, Halloween Resurrection, the worst. For me, this is the worst. For me, this is the worst. I hate how they retcon H2O's ending with Michael Myers switching places with a paramedic, which is just completely absurd. Because they always send in like 2 paramedics. There's no way Michael Myers would have like been able to switch places with this dude. This is so retarded. And then like just like the idea or whatever. Well, first of all, it doesn't make any sense because once Michael kills Jamie Lee Curtis's character, he would have directly went after Josh Hartnett. He wouldn't have stopped. He would have went after his next family member. It doesn't make any sense. And so he just goes home and eats rats for like 4 or 5 years after the beginning of the movie when he kills Jamie Lee Curtis, which is just stupid. And Jamie Lee Curtis's character dies dumb, very dumb, because she's like paranoid, like maybe it's somebody else under that mask. But clearly it has to be Michael because this dude has been chasing you and he hasn't had time to switch places with anybody. I don't care how much trauma you have had. The Laurie character is smart. She isn't stupid. They wouldn't overcome her like that. She would know that it was Michael Myers. Or she would just look at the person and say, hey, take off your mask. You can just say that. You don't have to like go over there and pull it off yourself. Like if he's obviously not willing to take the mask off, then it's Michael Myers because the dude's going to be able to hear you. So it's stupid. And the movie seals the deal with these like really rote teen characters. Like if you're not like a big Halloween fan or like a Halloween fan, you might be able to watch this just like a passable, just standard slasher flick. But as a Halloween movie, this is pretty bad, especially as a sequel to H2O. Tyra Banks has no place in this movie. She does nothing. There's a reference to Peeping Tom, which was the movie that some people argue started the slasher genre because it came out, I believe, maybe like a month or a week or 2 before Psycho. But at the same time, though, Psycho's really the one that started the slasher genre because it was the one that was really popular and really kicked it off. Peeping Tom came and went. Nobody cared. It's just kind of become a cult film since then. But yeah. Overall, this is a 0 out of 4, and I hate the jump scare ending to this where it's like, oh, Michael Myers is dead. Oh, no, he isn't. He just wakes up. Stupid. He opens his eyes. It's just dumb. And the other alternate endings to this are also terrible. And Busta Rhymes showing up and doing kung fu like trick or treat motherfucker. This is so bad. This is so bad. Yeah, 0 out of 4. This is a terrible movie. I do not recommend this flick. And Busta Rhymes, like, he screams karate noises, like when he kicks Michael Myers through windows and stuff. It is awful. Awful. Yeah, overall, 0 out of 4 for me. I hated this movie. So, yeah, that's my ranking for the Halloween films. I didn't include the theatrical cut of Halloween 6 because I figured why bother, because it's a terrible movie, and the producer's cut is the better version, so why not just have it on there? And I didn't include Halloween 3 because I don't really consider that a Halloween movie. And if I did, it would be bad because it's not a good Halloween movie because it doesn't measure up to the first 2 Carpenter flicks in terms of writing. It isn't just because Michael Myers isn't in it. They're like, the writing is honestly not good in comparison to the Carpenter films. But if you take it as its own movie, it's just like an 80s Tom Atkins camp schlock movie, B flick, then it is good. I would give it a 3 out of 4. It would be entertaining. But yeah, I still stand by my review for that one. That is a bad Halloween movie in terms of the franchise after the quality of those first two. But as its own movie, just called Season of the Witch, it's entertaining camp. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.